What is up, good people? It's your girl, Nikki P, and we are at the end of 2024. So I thought it would be a good time for me to talk about the top lessons that I learned during this past year. So the first one that I learned was it is okay to be vulnerable. Vulnerability for a while, for at least the last few years, has been a tough place for me to show up in because I was always so guarded in my heart of just not wanting people to get too close and what can I share, what's safe for me to share, what's not safe for me to share. And so I would just kind of hide, even in my friend groups, even in my with my family. I would just hide because I just didn't want everybody to be able to see everything. And I read a book, I'm not sure if it was the beginning of this year or maybe it was the end of last year, but I read a book by Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability. And I realized that it's not weakness. Like, I think that was one of the biggest revelations to me, that it's actually not weakness, that it's very powerful to show up in your vulnerability. And I found that specifically over this last year, as I've started to share things that I was going through, how much more it resonated with people because I was being honest. I was just, I was being vulnerable, and other people were going through that same thing. And so there's a lot of power in vulnerability. And so that is definitely one of the lessons that I learned this year. The second lesson is celebrating wins. Now, full transparency, I am still learning this lesson. I am still learning this lesson. It is very difficult for me to celebrate like my own progress. I'm always like very focused, and usually when I complete one task, one accomplishment, it's like I don't even celebrate really. It's almost like, okay, great, that's good. And then I immediately jump right into the next thing. And I'm also really not great at letting other people celebrate me, especially when they want to make a very big deal out of it. It's like I want to shrink in and hide. But I'm realizing how important it is to celebrate yourself and to celebrate not just the big wins, but celebrate the little wins. And actually, I was just talking to my friend about this today. I am going to create a progress bar for like each of the categories that I have different goals in. I'm going to actually have a progress bar. I'm going to set milestones along a bar, and as I go and complete these certain milestones, I am going to mark it, and I'm going to check it, maybe not every week, but I'll probably check it monthly so that I can see very clearly that I was here and now I'm here. And I am going to, and I'll probably need some help from my friends on this, I will hold myself accountable for doing some kind of celebration. I don't care if it is going to buy myself some ice cream in this cold winter season. But yes, going to buy myself ice cream because I spoken Spanish for 5 minutes, just something to celebrate those wins. It's just so important and so good just mentally. Like, even if you don't consciously understand like how important it is for you to just celebrate, like what that does for your body, what it does for your motivation to keep you going, is taking time to really acknowledge every single milestone that you hit. And the third lesson, and the last lesson I'll talk about on this video, is learning that you don't have to show up perfect. Just show up authentic. Matter of fact, authenticity is one of the words. It's a word that I use frequently, but going into this next season, it is going to be like one of my words. Like, that's going to be something that I want to stay in my mind, because I think it's taken me so long to show up on social media because I kept feeling like I had to have this perfect like content plan, and I had to have this certain equipment, and I had to have this certain look and the brand, and I got to have what's my colors and what is this, and I didn't have all of these answers. So I'm just like, okay, well, until I get these answers, I'm not going to make a move. Well, that's not really how it works. And what I'm finding is that as I show up just being me, just being my authentic self, that's what people really want to see. That's what they want to see. I think that we get so caught up on social media. Like we see all the like the high points of a lot of the people that we follow. You know, if you're like me and you follow a lot of people who are talking about manifestation and abundance, you see them when they have the thing. Now they'll talk about, you know, how they got to the thing, but when we see them, when they show up on social media for us, we see them, they have the thing, they have the relationship, they have the family, they have the business, they have the money, they bought the house, they did whatever it is that, you know, they accomplished. And we, as we're still in this space of trying to get to that space, we don't feel like we have enough and it's not enough, and so we just don't show up at all because we can't show up perfect. And I'm telling you that more people relate to you when they realize that they're just like you, that they're just like you, and you show them that by showing them authenticity and not perfection. And I actually don't really think that there is a such thing as perfection, because no matter what level you get to, there's always something more that you can tweak, or something that somebody somewhere is going to have something to say. So there is no real perfection. There's just show up authentic, you know. And I found that as I show up authentic, I have more people reaching back out to me saying, oh wow, like I really enjoyed your story about this, and oh, you know, it was really nice to see, you know, oh girl, me too, and saying things like that. Like authenticity is key. What are some takeaways that you had for this year, or maybe just this season, you know, whatever that measurement of time is for you? What are some lessons that you have learned? Tell me in the comments.